Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text number 17. Adhyarhaṇīyāsanam āsthitaṁ paraṁ vṛtaṁ catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ yuktaṁ bhagaiḥ svair itaratra cādhruvaiḥ svair dhāman ramamāṇam īśvaram adhyarhaṇīyā, greatly worshipable, āsanam, throne, āsthitaṁ, seated on it, paraṁ, the supreme, vṛtaṁ, surrounded by, catuḥ, four, namely Prakriti, Purusha, Mahat and Ego. Shodasha, the 16. Pancha, the 5. Śaktibhiḥ, by the energies. Yuktaṁ, empowered with. Bhagaiḥ, his opulences. Svair, personal. Itaratra, other minor provinces. Cha, also. Cādhruvaiḥ, temporary. Svair, own. Eva, certainly. Dhāman, abode. Ramamāṇam, enjoying. Īśvaram, the Supreme Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord was seated on His throne and was surrounded by different energies like the 4, the 16, the 5 and the 6 natural opulences, along with other insignificant energies of the temporary character. But He was the factual Supreme Lord, enjoying His own abode. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord is naturally endowed with His 6 opulences. Specifically, He is the richest. He is the most powerful. He is the most famous. He is the most beautiful. He is the greatest in knowledge. And He is the greatest renouncer as well. And for His material creative energies, He is served by 4, namely the principles of Prakriti, Purusha, Mahatattva and Ego. He is also served by the 16, namely the 5 elements, earth, water, air, fire and sky. The 5 perceptive sense organs, the eye, ear, nose, tongue and skin. And the 5 working sense organs, the hands, the legs, the stomachs, the evacuation outlet and the genitals, and the mind. The 5 includes the sense objects, namely form, taste, smell, sound and touch. All these 25 items serve the Lord in the material creation, and all of them are personally present to serve the Lord. The insignificant opulences numbering 8, the Ashtasiddhis attained by yogis for temporary overlordship, are also under his control, but he is naturally full with all such powers without any effort, and therefore he is the Supreme Lord. The living being, by severe penance and performance of bodily exercises, can temporarily attain some wonderful power, but that does not make him the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, by his own potency, is unlimitedly more powerful than any yogi. He is unlimitedly more learned than any jnani. He is unlimitedly richer than any wealthy person. He is unlimitedly more beautiful than any beautiful living being. And he is unlimitedly more charitable than any philanthropist. He is above all. No one is equal to or greater than him. Nor can anyone reach his level of perfection in any of the above powers by any amount of penance or yogic demonstrations. The yogis are dependent on his mercy. Out of his immensely charitable disposition, he can award some temporary powers to the yogis because of the yogis hankering after them. But to his unalloyed devotees, who do not want anything from the Lord save and except his transcendental service, the Lord is so pleased that he gives himself in exchange for unalloyed service. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om ajnanatimmirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitan yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga. So in this part of the Srimad Bhagvatam, we are seeing what Lord Brahma saw in his meditation after so many thousands of years of meditation, and what was revealed to him. It's a very wonderful verse, very beautiful verse. Adhyarhaṇīyāsanam āsthitaṁ varam. Arhaṇīya, arhana is worship. In Kunti's prayers that word comes. Yadikshanam yadarhanam. Anyone remembers that Kunti's prayer? Arhanam. Kunti's prayers. Yat Shravanam. Or in Shukadev Goswami's prayers maybe. Can you read that verse? I also forgot to pull that up. Shukadev Goswami. Yadikshanam yadarhanam. Yadikshanam. Then yadarhanam.
2.4.15.
That is Kunti's prayers?
No.
Shukadeva Goswami's praise. 2:4:50. Tasmai Subhadra Shravasena. Shukadeva Goswami. So arhanam, worship. So adhyarhaṇīyāsanam, āsthitaṁ paraṁ. Lord Brahma saw Narayana, Vishnu, seated on a throne, asanam, and that asanam is adhyarhaṇīyāsanam. Āsthitaṁ paraṁ. The Lord was seated. And vṛtaṁ, he was surrounded by catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ. 4 Shakti, 16 Shakti, 5 Shakti. He was surrounded by vṛtaṁ, catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ. And yuktaṁ, he was endowed with bhagaiḥ, svair bhagaiḥ, his own opulences. Itaratra cādhruvaiḥ. Dhruva means eternal, solid, permanent. Adhruva, temporary. Cādhruvaiḥ itaratra. And other subsidiary, secondary, temporary Shaktis. Svair dhāman ramamāṇam īśvaram. And he was sitting there. Svadhamam. He was sitting in his own abode. And what was he doing? Ramamāṇam īśvaram. Ramamāṇam. He was enjoying. So, nicely Prabhupada has translated. The Lord was seated on his throne. Asanam, āsthitaṁ. And was surrounded by different energies, vṛtaṁ. Like the 4, the 16, the 5 and the 6 natural opulences. catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ. Along with other insignificant energies. Itaratra cādhruvaiḥ, of the temporary character, cādhruvaiḥ. But he was the factual Supreme Lord. Svair īśvaram, enjoying his own abode. Svadhamam ramamāṇam. And Srila Prabhupada has elaborated what are these 4, 16 and 5, 6, all of that in the purport. The 4 refers to Prakriti, Purusha, Mahat-tattva and ego, Ahankara. 16 includes 5 Panchabhuta, 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception and mind. 5, 5, 5, 1. 16. And 5 refers to Panchabhutas, 5 elements. And the other 5 refers to the sense objects, Rupa, Gandha, Rupa, Ruchi, Rupa, Ruhi, Ruchi, Gandha, Shabda and Sparsha. And 6 natural opulences, Aishvaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashaha, Jnana, Vairagya, Yoschaiva, Shannam, Bhaga, Itingana, Shadbhaga. All of them are surrounding him, ready to carry out his orders. In other words, the Lord in Narayana in Vaikuntha is surrounded by his energies, and they're all personalities. They're all ready to serve him. That's why the Lord is never alone. That's why in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, see, these are all very, very sensitive, very carefully understood nuances in our Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Lord is never alone. That's why we don't worship the Lord alone. Sometimes people have only Krishna. We are a little uncomfortable with that. No. Krishna is never alone. He is with Radha, he is with Balaram, he is with cows, he is with calves. Or if he is Narayana, Narayana also, he is not alone. He is with Lakshmi. This is the correct understanding. Like say, if you say Prime Minister came, did he come alone? No, about 25 cars came with him. All big people were in the 25 cars. He's not alone. We have seen that in the material world also. It is like that. So, I'll read one purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada explains this. This verse is talking about, it's actually, where is this? This is in the Bhagavatam. Also there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Oh yeah, it is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the Bhagavatam verse is being quoted. In the beginning of the creation, the Lord expanded himself in the form of the Purusha incarnation, accompanied by all the ingredients of material creation. First, he created the 16 principal energies suitable for creation. This was for the purpose of manifesting the material universes. Narayana has all these different energies. Many of them are for his pleasure in the spiritual world, and some of the energies are for manifesting the material world. This world that we see. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagvatam. The commentary of Madhva on Srimad Bhagvatam mentions that the following 16 spiritual energies are present in the spiritual world. Shri, Bhu, Leela, Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Gir, Pushti, Satya, Gnana Gnana, Gnana Agnana, Jaya Utkarshini, Vimala, Yogamaya, Prahvi, Ishana, and Anugraha. Madhvacharya is writing a commentary on the Bhagavatam verse. He is listing these are the 16 energies. Then, in his commentary on the Lagu Bhagavatamrita, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushana has said that the above energies are also known by 9 names: Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prahvi, Satya, Ishana, and Anugraha. In the Bhagavad Sandarbha of Srila Jiva Goswami, text 103, they are described as Shri, Pushti, Gir, Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Ila, Jaya, Vidya Avidya, Maya, Samvit, Sandhini, Hladini, Bhakti, Murti, Vimala, Yoga, Prahvi, Ishana, Anugraha, etc. All these energies act in different spheres of the Lord's supremacy. This is Prabhupada writing in the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you can see, we usually talk about three principal energies: Samvit, Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini. Sandhini is the potency, Lord's potency of existence. Samvit is the Lord's potency of knowledge or awareness. Hladini is the potency, Lord's potency of pleasure. The Lord's existence and various other manifestations are brought about by Sandhini Shakti. The Lord's awareness, He is fully aware, Samvit Shakti, and He enjoys that pleasure is infused by His Hladini Shakti. These are His own Shakti, His manifestation. And Hladini Shakti is personification of Hladini Shakti is Radharani. And Radharani expands as many gopis. And Radharani also expands as Pure Mahishi, the queens of Dwaraka. And also expands as Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha. All of them are expansions of Radharani, the Hladini Shakti potency. Now, not only Hladini Shakti potency and these expansions we hear about, and Srimati Radharani, these are all personalities and they are all Shakti, and so feminine, and are serving the Supreme Master, Purusha, Krishna or Vishnu. So we usually talk about these three primary potencies, but look at the number of potencies that are there. Prabhupada has described here. All of these are also different acharyas are pointing out. Shri, Bhu, Leela Shakti, Kanti Shakti, Lord's effulgence, maybe that's the Brahman, Kanti Shakti, Kirti, fame, Tushti, satisfaction, Gir, speech, Pushti, nourishing, Satya. Satya is also the Samvit, Sandhini Shakti. Gnana Agnana, Jaya Utkarshini, Vimala, Yogamaya, Prahvi, Ishana and Anugraha. Anugraha is also another Shakti of the Lord. When Lord blesses somebody, it's His Anugraha Shakti that empowers that person. Now, like this, the Lord, vṛtaṁ, as this way, vṛtaṁ catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ. These Shaktis sometimes are grouped in one way, Chatuhu, sometimes grouped as some other energies are described as Shodasha, sometimes it is described as Pancha, sometimes it is described as Shadbhagha. But all of these are associates of the Lord. And the Lord, when He wants something, immediately His different energies are ready to serve Him. We see something, a little bit of an imitation of that in the material world. A rich man, powerful man, And then he says, presses a bell. Yes, sir. Keep the car ready. Keep the driver ready. Car will be ready. Bring food. The food will be brought. Like that. The rich man also surrounds himself, and then he has all these different people serving him. Look at it. See how we are trying to imitate the Lord's position in all its details. So, all these verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam is to convey to us the spiritual situation in the spiritual world. This is a nice expression Prabhupada uses a few times in his writings. Spiritual situation. What is the situation in the spiritual world? And we are busy with the material situation. This price is going up, technology has to improve, poverty is there, this is happening, that. They're all material situation, and we are absorbed in it. Every day, 16-page, 24-page newspaper comes out explaining the latest situation of the material world. And we are all eager, people are all eager to read that. Newspapers, which is describing the material situation. Somebody was killed, somebody was elected, somebody became successful, some building collapsed, something else happened, this one. Describing the material situation. And the spiritual situation is Krishna, the Lord, His pastimes, His energies. Now you can see how from the Srimad Bhagavatam you get a grand picture of the spiritual world. The Lord is there, surrounded by these different energies, and these different energies ready to serve Him. So, just like Hladini Shakti, personification is Radharani. Sandhini Shakti, personification. Samvid Shakti, there is a personification. Jnana, Satya, Sat, existence. You see, why these three are considered Samvid, Sandhini, Samvid, Hladini? They are considered primary because we can see that its manifestation in this world. So many things exist. Like the floor exists, the mat exists, earth exists. The thing exists. And we exist. We also exist. We are sitting here thinking, understanding, hearing. We exist. Our existence is very primary. One scientist he writes in his book, why does the world exist that we scientists study it? It's an important question. Why? Nothing could have been existing. Nothing exists. We don't have to study the world. But the world exists, and we exist, and we are studying the world. So you can see that existence is brought about by one of the energies of the Lord. Now you may ask the question, is the Lord dependent for His existence on that existence energy? No, that's His energy only. He expanded and manifesting as His one of the energies. So in other words, the world of existence is brought about by the Sandhini Shakti, which is Lord's own energy. It is His own energy. It's not that He is depending on something outside of Himself. It's His energy. So this is the position of the Lord and His energies. That's why the Upanishads describe parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. That Ishvara, that Param has many energies, and all of them svabhavaki jnana balakriyacha, and they all act in a natural sequence according to His will. And He has willed this material universe shall exist, and it is existing. Another important aspect is we not only exist, there is an awareness in us. We are aware of the building, we are aware of the time, we are aware we are sitting here, we are aware of our age. I am so many years old, I am man, I am woman. That awareness is there. That awareness is brought about by another Shakti of the Lord manifested in this material world as Jnana Shakti, Vidya Shakti. That's one of the listing of the energies. And the third one, which is very important because everyone wants pleasure, is the Hladini Shakti, pleasure Shakti. So like this, like we manifest these three, existence, knowledge and pleasure, whatever we are manifesting is simply a reflection of Lord's original situation in the spiritual world, and we in the material world trying to create a similar situation, keeping ourselves as the center and trying to be in the center of these things is a fundamental flaw of the Jiva, because Jiva has to keep Krishna in the center, and he should be serving the Lord because he belongs to the pleasure plan of the Lord. Lord has a plan for His pleasure, and in that plan we all fit in there, and we are meant to be serving Him. And when we have decided not to serve Him, we became envious of Him. We are here in the material world. And that's why Krishna says, those who are envious cannot know my true nature. They don't want to hear about my true nature. But Arjuna, because you are not envious of me, I am sharing you this confidential knowledge about my position. Sarva yagnānam bhokta ca prabhurevacha. This is my position. Of all yagnas, I am the law, I am the master, and I am the enjoyer. Now we see how all these things fit in so clearly. Very great presentation of the philosophy in a way we can all understand by Srila Prabhupada. It required that simplification, because Kali Yuga we cannot understand heavy philosophy, all that. The Shastras are full of grave statements, Prabhupada writes. Shastra is full of grave statements. And foolish conditioned souls running after enjoyment in the material world cannot understand all that. So it required simplification by many acharyas, elaboration, and then Srila Prabhupada presented that in English language, simple language that we can all understand. It's a very special contribution of Srila Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada himself mentioned very humbly, that Krishna sent him to write those books. Krishna sent him to write these books so that we can understand it easily. So, Bhagavatam also, Prabhupada points out that all of these cantos are describing the spiritual situation of the Lord in terms of His majestic, splendorous, powerful position. See, that's how this verse says, svair dhāman ramamāṇam īśvaram. In that Īśvara, svadhamam ramamāṇam īśvaram. We must understand the Lord's position as a powerful personality, so that we conditioned souls who are otherwise rebellious submit ourselves to Him. You see, if you go to a police station, the police, they are usually, they are wearing a dress and a shoe and boot, and then they'll walk inside like that. And then one constable will bring, sir, I found this, I caught this man, he was stealing. He'll come, they will bring him. Yes, you did this? And that man is shivering. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I stole, sir. I stole somebody's money. I stole, sir. Why did you do that? And then he is feeling. You see, this man is showing his power. And when he shows his power, that fellow criminal, he's, sorry, sir. I made a mistake. Somebody's property, I took it away. So this exhibition of power is essential so that the criminal learns his lesson. And so he will show like that, say, why did you do that? Sir, I will not do that, sir, again. Like this. This is the kind of an interaction that happens. And if you've gone to the police, I've gone to police station many times. For various reasons. And I've seen all these kind of things going on. And then he'll say, put him in the lockup. And then they'll take him, drag him, lock up, and keep him there. See, for instance, suppose that same police officer is there and the criminal is brought before him. And then he is talking to him. Oh, you stole, huh? You want to have one cup of chai? He speaks like that. Then the thief will think, good, I will get chai also. I got money also and I got chai also in the police. Police cannot do that. You see, in front of the thief, he has to show that. And then the thief is put into the lockup in the police station. In the police station, there is a place for locking up people. Police can keep, according to Indian law, in the lockup only for 24 hours. They cannot keep, police has no power to keep in police custody for more than 24 hours. After that, they have to present the criminal before a court. Court can hear and say, all right, keep him in the prison, keep him in the lockup for 10 days. Judge has that power. Police has no power for more than 24 hours. This is Indian law, IPC law. Now, so that's how they behave and they show their power. This is all required. The police are trained like that. Now, so the same police officer, after that criminal is put into the lockup, his friend comes to meet him in the police station. Probably he's another police officer or somebody his close friend. Now with him, he won't show power. Right? His friend has come. Oh, friend, sit down. And he will say, hey, what are you doing? I'm your friend. And so with his friend, he will be friendly. Hey, baito. Chai piyega? Let's have some tea. You see? With friend, he will be friendly. How he changes. With the criminal, he has to show that. In the same way, we are all conditioned souls are like criminals. Lord has to show His powerful feature so that we submit ourselves. Yes, my Lord, I made a mistake. My ahankara is too much. I'm trying to enjoy my senses. I'm trying to lord over material nature. Please pardon me. Okay, be in the lockup for some more years, some more janmas. Learn. So that's what is happening to us. So Lord in His majestic feature, He is showing His, that is requirement, that understanding is required for the conditioned souls to understand the powerful position of the Lord, the powerful situation of the Lord. Lord has all these powers. When the living entity is sufficiently reformed and he has given up his lording tendency, then the Lord will reveal His other sweeter features of friendliness, bringing the bhakta close to Him. In fact, Lord, in His deeper, intimate position, He doesn't want to always keep showing His power. You see, that police officer is sitting like that, showing his power. After some time, he'll say, close all the door. I want to be myself. Showing my power, showing one criminal after another criminal. Hey, don't bring any more criminals. Enough for some time. Give me a break, he will say. Because how much he goes on showing his power. He wants to be little.
You see? Even the Lord is like that. That's why the Chaitanya Charitamrita statements, and try to recollect. Aishwarya bhave sarva jagatan. Aishwarya bhave sarva jagata nahi mora prita. Can search that verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nahi mora prita. Aishwarya jnanete nahi mora prita. Aishwarya jnane shipila prema nahi mora prita. Aishwarya jnane. You found? It is in the first Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, read. You found? Opening. You found? Aishwarya jnanete sarva jagat nishchita. Aishwarya will remain nine. Aishwarya shipila preme nahi mora prita. This knowledge of Aishwarya of the Lord, it shipila preme, it dilutes His loving nature. But He has to show His powerful feature because the conditioned souls will not surrender to Him. In front of the criminal, He cannot show His loving nature. The police officer has a loving nature also. But he cannot show his loving nature to the criminal. Say after some time, like his friend, his children come from school. What he will do? He'll go and pick them up, hug them, make them sit on his lap. Can he do that to the criminal? Come, sit down. He can't do that. He has to show his power. Because criminal is a criminal. He's messing around people's life and his own life. In the same way, the conditioned souls, We are all messing our life and messing others. And so we deserve to be treated, showing the power so that we submit ourselves. That is required. Aishwarya, Jnana is required so that we surrender to the Lord. And that is why Srimad Bhagvatam says, the first 9 cantos are to describe the Aishwarya position of the Lord. Before and after that, in the 10th canto, Krishna will show not only the Aishwarya, he wants to show his prema utkrishta situation, his extreme loving situation he wants to share. That is why Bhagavatam is preparing us. Adhyarhaṇīyāsanam āsthitaṁ paraṁ vṛtaṁ catuḥ-ṣoḍaśa-pañca-śaktibhiḥ yuktaṁ bhagaiḥ svair itaratra cādhruvaiḥ svair dhāman ramamāṇam īśvaram. This is required for the conditions or for us. That is why in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, especially stressed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before coming to a liberated stage, if we start going into the pastimes of Krishna, the intimate pastimes of Krishna, we will not be able to appreciate it properly. You see, Prabhupada said, if a sick person, a person has got jaundice, he cannot appreciate sweet. In the same way, when we are diseased with this lording nature, we cannot appreciate Krishna's true position. And hence, trying to, because it is there in the Shastra, reading those things and thinking that, that is a sahajina. So great acharyas did not want us to discuss such intimate pastimes with the Lord when we are not qualified. First we have to hear about the Lord's powerful position. That has to strike us. It has to become, we have to clearly understand, this is the Lord's powerful position. Then, when the Lord is surrounded by his loving devotees, how he will show his Sakya Rasa, how he will show his Vatsalya Rasa, how he will show his Madhurya Rasa, that we can enter into. When we are, a criminal cannot be shown how that police officer has other friendly relation. Children, with his children he has nice relation. He has got his wife, with her he has another kind of a relation. These things are all covered. Hey, criminal, put him in the lockup. He cannot see all these things. You see, police officer cannot show these things. Police officer has to show his power before all the criminals. This is private life. With his children, with some close friend, with his mother, with his wife, these are all considered private life of the police officer. Police officer, you usually see him with his lati, with his uniform, and with his boot, walking like that, showing his power, and all the criminals fearing, oh, police. That is required for conditions also like us. We are all criminals. Criminal means acts against the established law. Our established law is that we are Amsha of Krishna. He is the Prabhu. He is the Purusha. He is the Master. We are supposed to serve him. Jivere Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. This is Nityadas is our position. But we are thinking, I want to become the Prabhu myself. Krishna's position is Nitya Prabhu. Our position is Nityadas. We are trying to be the Prabhu ourselves. This correction has to happen in our mind. And that in different situations, Krishna is trying to teach us as sadhakas for us. Krishna puts us through different situations and makes us how we must surrender to the Lord. I should not lord over. I should not think that I am the controller. I should not think that I am the proprietor and not the enjoyer. Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna wants us to completely be convinced about it. That's the sadhaka's life that Krishna takes us through. We try something, does not happen. Pray to Krishna, depend on Krishna, not I, it's not my ability. Krishna's anugraha, Shakti has to be there. These are all his Shakti. With his Shakti, if he wants, he can do anything. This understanding we must develop. This is called Krishna consciousness. Krishna, his potency, all these things, the spiritual situation, we have to become conscious of it. In material world, people say, "Oh, I will do it. I can do it." What they can do unless their karma permits them. So, this is the understanding of the spiritual situation. Bhagavatam is gradually making us learn that. And if we hear these things day after day, again and again, according to the instructions of the spiritual master, we become purified and we become eligible to understand more intricate aspects of the spiritual position of the Lord, which Bhagavatam is to be.
Who is Krishna? See how nicely all these things fits, how nicely Srila Prabhupada has presented all these things. We'll stop here. Anyone has any questions? Harina.
Description Brahma is carried after this tapasya he did. He saw Krishna and Vishnu.
You see, Brahma saw Vishnu, and he also saw Krishna. He also saw Krishna in Goloka Vṛtaṁ. All of that was revealed to Lord Brahma. Just like for Arjuna, he saw the Vishwarupa. He saw the Chaturbhuja Rupa. And then he saw the Lord's Dvibhuja Rupa, one after another after another. In the same way, Brahma also saw. But in the narrations, sometimes Brahma seeing Vishnu alone is described. Because this knowledge cannot go to everybody. Too many criminals in this world. Too many conditioned souls. They are not ready. You see, in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is any description of Radharani? Practically nothing. Only Sri Lakshmi. In Madhva Sampradaya, so much philosophical discussion happens there. No discussion about Radharani. Because those acharyas withheld that discussion. Because audience is not ready for all that. The police officer is sitting here. Only criminals, one after another they are bringing. He has to keep showing his powerful position only. And then afterwards, okay, enough criminals. Let my children come. My children have come. Oh, then he will show, oh, with my children, come, sit on my lap. You see? So, acharyas reveal according to time, place and circumstance. So, after all these acharyas had brought about the understanding about Vishnu sarvottamatvaha, this is one of the tenets of Madhvacharya's teachings. Vishnu is the supreme. That you get it clear. You are not the supreme. That we must get that clear. Then that Vishnu, the Lord will arrange different ways. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. And before that, few other predecessor acharyas like Madhavendra Puri, they brought the understanding of Radha and Krishna. These are all very special things. cannot be shared so freely. Hence there is a restraint by the acharyas, by the Lord himself in revealing himself. He wants to reveal everything, but they are not ready. That same criminal can reform himself, can become qualified, can become a friend of the officer one day. It's possible. But right now he is, if I leave him, he'll go against me. Again we have to catch him and bring him back. That's his mentality now. So that's why you see conditioned souls, we cannot go into those pastimes of Krishna, Vrindavan Leela pastimes. That's why Prabhupada, when Prabhupada went to Madras, there was one family, they came and asked, Swamiji, can you tell about Radha and Krishna? Prabhupada said, I don't know Radha and Krishna. I'm only teaching Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says he is the Supreme. See, the acharyas what can they understand? And if they understand, it will be sentimental understanding. Sentimental understanding is like a chaya. Should I give you real mango or should I give you an image of a mango? Image of a mango, you bite, you will not get anything. You can be thinking, oh, I've got a mango, image of a mango. It doesn't serve the purpose. So our acharyas want to give us the real mango. They want to prepare us and then give us the real mango. That's why there is a certain restraint. So in this Bhagavatam, in this description by Shukadeva Goswami, he describes about the Vishnu in this part. Later on he is going to tell what else Brahma saw. And Brahma Samhita is another scripture where Brahma describes what he saw. Īśvara parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakasat Mashakalpa Vriksha. The spiritual situation, Brahma, what he saw, he reveals in the Brahma Samhita. So like that, different scriptures reveal to different extents. Because acharyas reveal to different extents. Because audience is not there. They are not qualified. Like that.
Is there any connection between Brahma Samhita and Brahma is praying here, or is glorifying Krishna, or what he saw is telling? Because here also not that he is not telling completely, or process is not given. In between we got separately Brahma Samhita is also there.
Yeah.
So any description of that Brahma Samhita here we can find in Bhagavatam, or connection we can find in Bhagavatam.
Yeah, we can. In the 10th canto you will see the Brahma Samhita. All those even more elaborately explained in the 10th canto. So the 9 cantos are to prepare the conditioned soul, purify the conditioned soul, and fix them in the understanding that the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer. Chaitanya Charitamrita also says the defining characteristic of a Shanta Bhakta, beginning stage, not yet come to Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Just the characteristic of a Shanta Bhakta is he is Krishna Nishtha. Never makes a mistake. He is fixed in Krishna consciousness. You see? So, unless you become, first is the Shanta Rasa understanding, then comes Dasya Rasa, then other understanding comes. So important to become Nishtha Bhaktas. So, our acharyas want us to gradually develop all these things. Ādo Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya Tata Anartha Nivrittisya Tato Nishtaha and then gradually come to asakti, bhava, prema, then we can understand even other confidential aspects of Krishna in the spiritual situation. So it's like that. Yes, Suchandra.
Radharani is expansion, like Radharani is expanding as the queens of Dwarka. So Radharani is also expanding as Vrindavan.
Radharani is expanding as Vrinda Devi.
This is my query.
No, I don't know whether we should read these things carefully from the Shastra. Vrinda Devi is another. Okay, if you say she is also another gopi, then she is also an expansion. But all the Prakriti, Hladini Shaktis who to give pleasure to the Lord are expansions of Radharani.
Maybe might be Leela Shakti also, as she arranges the pastime.
Yeah, that's why I said we cannot speculate these things. We should accurately read what the Shastra or the Acharyas say. Otherwise, we may have a wrong understanding.
The Vaishnava song, it is said that Radharani is the mistress of entire Vrindavan, and she has given this in charge to Vrinda Devi for arranging the pastime.
Correct. We have heard these things. I'm only saying that these kind of things, very rarely.
Formally, may be objection, like calling Leela Shakti, formally may not be right.
Right. That's why I said we should accurately read what the Shastra or the Acharyas have written. We must not make it. But sometimes people freely talk about all this. If you go in Nandagaon, all those places, a lot of pandas will speak this, so many things. But our Acharyas always were very restrained.
Prabhupada's initially, like when we come, so much enthusiasm is there for reading Prabhupada's books. Bhagavad Gita and particularly even Chaitanya it attracts even more than Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
That's how it is, like I appreciate. And then Bhagavatam. After that, Bhagavatam, nectar of devotion, all those things attract. But first 6 months, few years, okay. After that, should we like read once all these books? Then we purchase like Srimad Bhagavatam, written by of course other ISKCON devotee. And then Lagu Bhagavatam is there, then Jiva Goswami, Satsandharva is there. Not Satsandharva, but these 2 books, and few that Harinam Chintam. So should we read or not? What should be our approach? Because as an enthusiast, we have finished all these books. Of course, many times also we read, there is no end to that. We can read the entire lifetime, we can entire CC 10 times, but still we can keep revising. So, but as a new like Bhagavatam itself mirrors the detailed pastimes of Lord Krishna in Golok. Like with Gopkumara, how he goes level to level. And another part is completely what pastimes happens in the Vaikuntha. So, a devotee is very enthusiastic. Okay, so what all happens in the Lord's pastime? Bhagavatam has given only second canto, few verses about that. Detailed whole book is there on that, so thick book. So, like that we purchase and how should we go?
Generally, Prabhupada was careful, wanted us to be careful and read his books very thoroughly for our daily contemplation, understanding, meditation. We go by Srila Prabhupada, what he has given. And by and large, Prabhupada said, this is, whatever I have given is enough to even to go back to Godhead. However, Prabhupada also made statements that devotees should read these books. Both statements are there. So, there was a discussion in this, there is a GBC resolution on this also. If you read carefully, it must have been put up on the notice board. So, there was some discussion on this. So, initially, devotees should spend a lot of time reading Prabhupada's books. There is one statement I have heard, it is not recorded, but I have heard. Prabhupada said, you read Bhagavad Gita 10 times, Bhagavatam 3 times, Chaitanya Charitamrita once. After that, you come and ask the question. Like that. So in other words, we must read these books, and these books are our foundational books. Everything we form, firm conviction, we develop from Prabhupada's books, because Prabhupada said this is not simple ABC translation. These are written with realization. Like some of these statements that we see here. See, these are all very... But he was the factual Supreme Lord, enjoying his own abode. And all these energies are there for him, for in the matter of the creation. So these are all some very special statements that we should reflect on. So there is no complete prohibition by Srila Prabhupada. And if some Prabhupada's own followers have written some of these books, one can read. But before one can read those books, we should have thoroughly studied Prabhupada's books, especially Gita. Why? The reason why Prabhupada stressed these things. Sometimes in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, there were some organizations, some institutions where they were saying that we don't want to read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is all for neophytes. We only read 10th canto or even beyond that. No, this kind of an understanding, an attitude is completely erroneous.
It will hurt people.
Yes.
At a spiritual way.
Yes.
You said without liberation, we should not go into the intimate pastimes of the Lord.
What is this?
So that we are not getting intimate, at least some more information about the Lord's abode that we are getting without even knowing the secret.
Yeah. So you see from Prabhupada, both kind of statements are there. Prabhupada warned us that we don't prematurely go and read those. But at the same time, Prabhupada said these acharyas have written all these things, we must read. And it was Prabhupada's plan. I want to give all these books. Prabhupada said, I want to write one more Gita. Once more he wanted to write Bhagavad Gita. He said, so much more is there in the Gita itself. You see? And he wanted to give the Shat Sandarbhas, he wanted to give all these books. But anyway, according to Lord, whatever he has given us, we should. So much is there to read and understand. Like that. We'll stop here. Harinam, one more. Okay. One more.
So we say the parampara also Krishna gave knowledge to Brahma, Krishna gave knowledge to Shiva. Is that Krishna or Vishnu is giving?
You see,
because whenever the point comes of we have to explain Krishna, everywhere mentioned it is Vishnu, then we add Krishna, then we add Krishna. Krishna and Vishnu is same. Then wherever we have to differentiate, we differentiate clearly.
because Vishnu and Krishna, in Tattva there is no difference. So, there is nothing wrong in saying that Vishnu gave this knowledge or Krishna gave this knowledge.
We say about Krishna, because we are more towards true form of the Lord, attractive feature of the Lord.
That is the characteristic of our Chaitanya Sampradaya, where that Adi Purusha is not even Narayana. Narayana is also coming from Krishna, and Krishna is the Adi Purusha. Not even Dwaraka Krishna, not even Mathura Krishna, Vṛtaṁ, these are all nuances further. But yes, everything is coming from Krishna.
That's why other parampara easily accept and so firmly they say Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu.
Yeah, even we can say that. It is all Vishnu.
They worship Vishnu as well.
Yeah.
They worship Vishnu more.
Yeah, not that we don't worship Vishnu. Vasudeva was worshipping Vishnu, deities, Varaha deity, like that. Not that Vishnu worship is forbidden. You see, Krishna Prabhupada established a Ram temple, Sita Ram Lakshman. And we have in Bangalore, Srinivasa. We worship Vishnu also. Because these acharyas, they wanted to focus on, just like the example I gave. Criminal cannot understand, cannot expect to have friendship with a police officer. First let him behave properly, let him get reformed. In the same way, that's our position. But at the same time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to reveal the full glory of the Lord. Yes. Then you go to Vishnu and then you go to Radha Krishna. You see? So, like that.
In fact, the 10th canto, which is primarily focused, biggest canto is primarily focused on Lord Krishna's pastimes.
Yes.
And I was surprised, like when Sanskrit were generally, we don't have that much knowledge of Sanskrit, little bit only refer mostly Prabhupada translation.
Yeah.
So once just for curiosity, I looked at what Parikshit Maharaj had asked. And which answer, the whole 10th canto came out. There is a Vishnu's pastime you describe. At least we say on all of the, so many pastimes, Rishabh there happened, Kapila there happened, so many. Here also telling Vishnu's pastime, then Parikshit Maharaj, then in answer he describes Lord Krishna's pastime. Then this is like directly calling actual Vishnu pastime.
So that's why Kshiti Virala Chara Katipaye. The true glories of Krishna, Virala, it is rarely understood. That is the...
Everything is out and everything people talk.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Prabhupada was asked who is Radha Krishna.
Yeah,
Prabhupada said, okay, I don't know.
yeah.
We are worshipping Radha Krishna. If somebody asks, we should have knowledge of Radha Krishna.
So that same donor or life member or that rich man who came and met, first let him read Bhagavad Gita, let him practice the teachings of Bhagavad Gita as Prabhupada has given. Then one day he will be able to appreciate Radha Krishna also. Not that it is forbidden, but we want to do it in the right sequence. That's the understanding. We'll stop here. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Shri Shri Nithai Gauranga ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.